Hi, welcome back to another edition of the joint venture. Craig Carton, Lil Wayne. In New York City, where I'm from, I've seen a rat that looked me dead in the eye and said, "What do you want?"
I probably saw that same one in Rikers.
Joining us now is Owen Hanson, going by the nickname Cocaine Quarterback. You owe the cartel how much?
3.2. And I literally just said, okay, it's it, right? They're going to shoot me, they're going to take me in the desert, and they're going to burn me with acid.
For those of you that are new to the show, let me just walk you through a little bit of the history of it. Wayne first found me when I was on FS1, and you've told this story, and you were in the studio, and as you've told me, you said, I heard a voice on the screen say, that dude's a bitch. It was, I forget what quarterback it was, right?
Said, you called a certain NFL player NFL hoe. That's what you called it. You see? And I was like,
wasn't wrong.
Saw your name on the guide already like that week. You know, in FS1, and they do the NASCAR thing. I saw Cartel. I thought it was one of their NASCAR shows. So I would turn it off before it come on. That day I didn't feel like grabbing the remote. I was on the couch. I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to go to sleep to NASCAR. You came on and you said that. I turned around like, wait, what? Who is this dude? Turned you up, woke up.
That was it.
Not tired anymore. Woke up, called the homies. So, man.
That's how this whole thing started.
Exactly. That's my dog, man.
So I'm here for you.
Exactly.
And we're going to blow it up. So
let's get it.
So when you walk down the street, people are like, oh, I saw you on the joint venture with Craig.
Exactly.
All right, Brian Schottenheimer, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, having some trouble in Dallas. Now, some people are blaming Jerry Jones for this because he might not be happy that he hired him, but I'll tell you the story. Apparently, his house in Dallas has been infested with owls.
I know about the owl.
Snakes. And now, like, thousands of wasps. I don't know if I could live like that. Like in New York City, where I'm from, it's the rats. And I have a thing for, I can't deal with rats. Like field mice, I can barely tolerate. But rats, like, I've seen a rat that looked me dead in the eye and said, "What do you want?"
I probably saw that same one in Rikers.
In Rikers?
Yeah, I probably saw that same one. Yep.
Yeah, Rikers is a bad place.
Now, they had, like, dudes in there that would, like, feed them. And they would, like, the same one would come, same hourly time to that one cell. Wouldn't go to no one else's cell, wouldn't mess around nobody else's cell. You could have food crumbs on the floor. You're not even going to go straight to that cell.
So a dude at Rikers domesticated the rats? By the way, that's a dude who's doing a lot of time.
Yeah.
If you're going to domesticate a rat, that means you ain't going nowhere for a long time.
You got nothing else to do, man.
Our first guest here.
Let's go.
On joint therapy. So check this dude out. 2005.
Yeah.
His name's Owen Hanson.
Yeah, I know about
He was the backup quarterback on the championship USC team.
Yeah.
So great athlete, all-American kid, right?
Yes.
And then he got mixed up with the Mexican cartel.
Saw that.
Did 9 years in prison and is now out on probation. And he joins us here right now. So let's bring Owen in, guys, if we can.
Yes, sir.
All right. Here he comes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
There he is. Owen Wayne.
Hello, man. Nice to meet you, man.
Good to see you, pal. Thanks for coming in.
Hold up. If you haven't seen the documentary, you need to check it out. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You can see it now. It's out there.
Amazing on
Multi-part
Amazon.
series.
Check it out.
So you start off as a great athlete, all-American kid. You go to USC. You play quarterback. You guys win a national championship. And somewhere along the way, just went south in your life and you got involved with some bad people. But walk us through how you went from 2005 to where you wound up.
Let me correct you. I actually was a tight end.
Okay.
They call cocaine quarterback. They say I was a signal caller for the cartel, meaning I was
I messed that up.
Yeah, you're okay. Everyone's done it. So I came in as a tight end, and I ended up graduating with 2 national championship rings under Pete Carroll. And
did you leave prison as a tight end?
A wide receiver.
Man. Don't need certain questions, bro. Certain questions, bro.
I did. Wayne did.
I left tight end.
Crazy, man.
I'm sorry. You win 2 national championships.
2 with Pete Carroll. Yep.
Okay. And everything's great.
Everything was good.
And are you thinking NFL? Is that on the table at that point?
No, I was a walk-on. You got to remember, I never played the game in my life. I came there as a volleyball player, all-American volleyball player, and I got redshirted. I said, you know what? I'm going to get on some sauce and get better. And I got so big, they're like, why aren't you playing football? I said, I never played football in my life. And they said, well, you're an athlete. You might as well try. I said, you know what? I will try. I showed up. There was 50 guys, tryouts, all Americans from high school and junior college.
Yeah.
And I remember, I was like, man, none of these people know I'm juiced out of my mind. I was on the gear. And we caught some balls. I caught 3 out of 5. They did the vertical jump. I'm a volleyball player, so 37, 38 inches.
Yeah.
They said, it's time to run the 40. They wait till I'm like the second to last guy. Pete Carroll's got his stopwatch out. 4.6. I'm weighing 240 pounds.
It's not bad.
It's combine time. Pete Carroll sent me back. He thought his stopwatch was broken. He said, do it again. Boom, 4.62. And now you got Norm Chow coming over, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin. They're like, who is this kid, right? They're like, all right, guys, down to the weight room.
Lane was a kid.
Yeah, Kiffin was there. He's like, time to hit the 225, you know?
Yep.
I said, these guys are clueless what they're going to see right now. They have no clue.
The volleyball player can pump it. Go ahead.
I was dropping those things off my chest like there's two feathers on each side, right? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and I racked it. I probably had 3 more left. And they're looking at me like, damn, who is this guy? And I remember a week goes by and one of the athletic coaches goes, hey, man, you got to go check out the list, man. I said, what list? He goes, you got to see if you made it.
What list?
I said, I don't feel like I'm not going to make the football team. And I get up there. Pete Carroll has this list on the door and it says USC football with a helmet. And there's one name and it said Owen Hanson. I was like, holy shit, I just made the USC football team.
Wow.
Ended up being the dynasty, right? We won the 2 back-to-back national championships. All my buddies go to the NFL. Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Mike Williams, Lendell White. I mean, these are my boys. We're going out every night in Hollywood. We got the red carpet. You know? Yeah, we're the NFL team. Dude,
Wayne was there.
we were the team, man. Matt was dating Paris. Reggie was dating Kim.
Yep.
Anywhere we go, we had paparazzis. I was like, man, I like this life. Now all my boys go to play in the NFL. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to fit in? How am I going to make this money? And I'm a hustler my whole life. You know, I started selling just gram bags in college just to keep up.
You got on the USC team.
Yeah,
you're
customer base.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know,
That's a good point, by the way.
I literally was like, damn, what am I going to do? And I ended up becoming a bookie.
Okay.
And I was so good at it. I had Paris Hilton gambling with me. I had professional athletes from my running backs, won 3 Super Bowls, who got indicted with me, poor guy, Derek Lavelle. I had MMA fighters. I had closers for World Series teams betting with me. I mean, I had the A-list roster for
How much
gambling.
did Otani bet when he was betting with you?
He was not betting with me.
I told you about certain questions.
I'm just saying
That's
that's a fair question.
It's a fair
what I'm on the
question,
show for, bro.
He's the voice of reason, by the way,
Yeah.
for real. But go ahead.
So unbeknownst to me, I took this thing to the next level. I said, you know what? Let's go international. My nickname was Bet O-Dog. I said, let's call it Bet O-Dog International. I said, I want to go worldwide with this thing. I want to go to Canada. I want to go to Mexico. And one of my sub-bookies, one of the guys underneath me, he ended up bringing me this whale. And this whale ended up being a lieutenant for the biggest cartel in the world. And I didn't know it at the time, but I just started taking his action.
Right.
$250,000 duffel bags being dropped off on Monday.
Let me stop you there for a second. Did that guy ever connect with you directly? It was always through like the street agent.
Always through a street agent.
Okay, go ahead.
$250,000, lost it 3 weeks in a row. 240, 260. He was down on me, 750, paying me in cash like that. I'm like, okay, we got a whale. I said, take care of this man. Whatever this man needs, you treat him VIP. If he wants to go to my house in Costa Rica, put him on the plane. It's on me. Whatever he wants. If he wants caviar, it's on me.
Right.
I catch that.
We all need that.
He finally, this is every bookie's dream, for the customer to lose first, so you see he pays.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you want to pay him something so he feels like he's a winner. And he finally was going to crack me on it was a Sunday. It was a 5-pick parlay. He was going to crack me for like $240,000. He had the Raiders on his last 5th pick. I called his sub agent. I said, get to my house right now. This man is going to hit. I said, on Monday morning, I want you to bring in a duffel bag with these nice, crisp $100 bills and put it right on his doorstep and pay him. He's like, why? I said, because that's how we do business here.
That's right.
Because on the street, most bookies collect from the losers and they pay the winners by Thursday. That's not how it should be, though.
We were Monday, Wednesday.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes,
you
for
pay
sure.
on Monday,
Yeah.
you don't collect till Wednesday.
Yes. So I said, get this man paid. And sure enough, when I paid that man, he wanted to know who I was. He says, I've never seen someone do business this well. Pay me at 8 a.m. on a Monday. He gave this bookie, the sub-bookie, an encrypted phone. And said, give this to that man, whoever's the bookie. I want to talk to him. I get this encrypted phone. It's a BlackBerry. And it has no camera. It has no microphone, no GPS. It's just a brick. I'm like, what the am I going to do with this?
Right.
And he's like, there's 3 passwords. I'm like, okay, well, give them to me. Right? And I'm opening them up. 3rd one, I finally get in. And he's like, I like the way you do business. I'm like, oh. anything you
Thanks.
need, right? Like, thanks, anything you need. Remember, I'm that concierge that does anything for these VIP customers. So I'm like, whatever you need, I'm here for you. 2 minutes later, you must have money all over the United States being a bookie. He says, how would you like to make 10% on your money? I'm like, of course, what do you need? I need you to drop off 100,000 at a stash house in San Diego. Easy. Call my agent. 2 minutes later, the money's dropped off. He writes back. He goes, nice business. Where do you want the 110K wired? Man, that was the easiest $10,000 I've ever made, right?
Wow.
He keeps going. For like 2 weeks, he's doing the same thing. North Carolina, I'm dropping off money. Florida, and I'm just making 10%. It's like, this is a no-brainer. And then finally he goes, how about picking up $1 million for me in my rival territory? I can't be there. I'm like, okay.
So prior to that, you're only dropping off.
Just dropping off.
Now
so
the first
now
chance
this
for you
is
to
the
pick up.
pick up, and he said rival. So then it clicked. I'm like, okay, why can't this guy go to? He wanted to go to Texas. It was Brownsville, Texas. I'm thinking at the time now. He can't go there obviously because he's in some kind of gang related, right. So I don't know what gang it is yet, but I said $1 million. He goes, yeah, I'll pay you 10%. I said, fuck, that's a no brainer. That's $100,000, right? I just got to figure out how to do it. So I'm 25 at the time.
Jeez, you're a kid. I'm
young. I said, okay, I got to get private jet. All right, I'm going to get a cheap one, $2,500 an hour. I got the turboprop, right? Right, I'm going to get a turboprop. I got to get a security. I got an Avalon Crip. I'm going to go grab him. I'm going to get a UFC fighter with me. So I got some muscle just in case. And I'm going to fly on this thing. It's going to be 4 hours there and 4 hours back. I'm doing the math. That's 10.
And
that's
are you
20.
processing this all by yourself? Or
Yeah,
like you have
me.
somebody in your life, you're like, let me just run something by you?
No, this is me, man. I got that USC degree, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could tell in his just the way that's how he thinks. Yeah. Yeah.
So I got this.
Dude, I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's only 10,000 going there, 10,000 going back. Okay, that's 20 grand. I'm profiting 80 right now. I got to pay Tank from Avalon. I got to pay this UFC fighter. That's another 2 grand. I'm coming out with like $78,000 for 8 hours of work. I said, let's do it. And I put it all together. I get to Brownsville, Texas. I tell the muscle to stay on the plane. I come down and I tell El Jefe on this encrypted phone, I said, I'm here. He says, give me 2 minutes. Sure enough, there's a gardener shows up in a pickup truck. A gardener. Overalls. I'm like, God damn, this can't be the guy. He shows up with a duffel bag with $1 million. He goes, Este para El Jefe. This is for the boss. I'm like, oh, I grab it. I'm like looking around thinking I'm going to get shot. Get back on that plane. I get back on that plane and I'm like, tell the pilot, let's go. Come on. And they're looking at me like, that's it? I'm like, that's it. Let's go. And we land in a private airport in Torrance, California.
Right.
I said, where do you want this money? He says, take 900, put it in the bag. He says, keep 100 for you for your services and have it dropped off in Riverside. And I had it dropped off and he goes, wow. I like the way you do work, Wedo. Wedo's a white boy, right? He's like, I like the way you do work. He says, how would you like to make $1 million a day doing the same thing, but in Australia? Remember, he said Australia. I'm the son of a construction worker. $1 million a day sounds pretty damn nice, right? Yeah.
Well, I just started speaking Australian accents so fast.
He says, I got a ton of cocaine over there, and you got to figure out how to move it for me. He
says, his age, too.
Right.
And not no real attachments to anything.
He's not married, doesn't have kids.
To where you
no responsibility.
White, right?
Yeah,
the comb over. Right? He had the suit and tie. I remember I had tattoos, and he says, I want you to clean up your look. All those tattoos were getting lasered off. He lasered off all my tattoos.
Really?
Yeah, I had half sleeves.
Yeah, that's when I would have stopped. I would knew I was dealing with somebody different. Yeah, right? And I would have felt different right there.
Dude,
this is different.
I mean, just when a guy goes, you want to go to Australia and get some coke? I might say, no, I'm good just doing the money thing with you. I'm not going to Australia for coke.
I'm good just doing the money thing with you.
Listen, when
there does come a point where you can't say no.
Well, like I said, I was this guy that wasn't going to stop, right? It's just, I'm so ambitious. I want to make this customer happy. The guy's losing money still to me. So I'm like, God, this is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
And when he said a ton, I'm doing the math. Like, God, that's 1,000 kilos, right?
He meant a ton.
He meant a ton that was over there. And I had to figure it out. I literally went to my Rolodex. There was a ball player at USC that played baseball, and his brother was in the weed business. And I said, I got to connect to that guy because he said he had international ties. So long story short, I connected with this USC kid.
Right.
He says, dude, you got to meet this guy who's from Naples, Italy. He's this international dealer that used to work for the Lucchese family. I said, I got to meet him. And I'm meeting the guy in the U.S. He says, you're not talking to me about any kind of business in the U.S. He says, if you want to come talk to me about business, you got to fly to Naples, Italy, where I live. He goes, I've had problems in the U.S. and I'm not speaking about any business in the U.S. I said, bet, let's run it. Fly over to Naples, Italy. I'm thinking about that $1 million a day. You know, like, I'm thinking I'm gonna fly anywhere. I'm thinking about where I need to go. I don't care if I have to go to Naples, Italy. I don't care if I have to go to Antarctica.
$1 million a day.
I
go to Mars.
I literally get there, and he has this beautiful home, villas, 2 villas, Tuscany winery. I'm like, okay,
Let me stop you there. At any point, are you thinking, like the way I'm thinking right now, like this is like Scarface type stuff, right? Like the big villa,
the villas,
all that kind of shit, right? And at no point are you like, I'm in way over my head. You're like, this is normal.
No, I play I've been over the head.
That thought probably would have been popped up a long time ago. He done got past that thought. Yeah.
But he's right. And I'm an action junkie. I like that rush, right? I'm an athlete. What do we like? We like playing for that rush. Look at all these guys that are getting indicted. They don't need the money. They're playing for that fucking rush, man. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just parlaying every bet. And I'm like, let's keep going, right? So I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm in and over my head. Of course I'm in over my head.
25.
Yeah, way over my head. And I finally get there to this old man, this OG, man. He's like 65 in this tracksuit.
Damn.
And he's looking at me like, you do not have cocaine in Australia, youngster. He's telling me that. I'm like, I do. I'm working for a lieutenant right now. He's like, it's not wasting my time. He says, when you see it with your own eyes, you call me. He says, I'm not going over there until you see it. I'm like, so I tell El Jefe, hey, I got a guy. It's good to go. I'm lying to him, right? I got lied up. And then I get over to Australia. And now I got to lie to the Italian. Right now I'm like over there, it's here. And I message him. I see it with my own eyes. Lied to him. Now, by the time he gets over there, I already know he's on the way. I said, El Jefe, what do you want me to do? And he says, I need you to get a room at the Four Seasons Hotel in Sydney, Australia. He says, as soon as you're in the Four Seasons, you message me the number. The Four Seasons was a beautiful hotel, so no one would ever think there's drug dealers going in there. We're literally in suits and ties. We go in there. We look like businessmen. We'll call him Uncle Louis, the Italian. I get him a room right next to me, 426. I get room 428. And I message El Jefe, hey, I'm in room 428. Within 20 minutes, there's a knock on the door, and this DHL officer comes and hands me this package, and I'm freaking out. I've done my homework. Anything over 3 kilos in Australia is a life sentence. I don't want to hold this shit. I'm knocking on the door next to me. I said, get your ass over here, Uncle Louis. Get here. We got stuff to do. And he comes over here. We literally cut in the box. I'm shaking. I'm like nervous. He would cut it open and get the brick out, and he's like, holy. And he cuts it open with his knife, and he does a quick key bump. He says, nephew, you were not lying. He says, this is either from Peru, Colombia, or Bolivia. This is grade A. He knew right away. He says, you were right. You're going to make $1 million a day. And within 30 minutes, he takes the package. He comes back with a suitcase of $1 million for me. He kept 500,000 for him. So he made $500,000. I made $1 million. I got to give half to El Jefe. So we each made 500,000. That was 10 kilos. The next day, we get 20. The next day, another 20.
The next day?
The next day, El Jefe sent them every day because this Uncle Louis is like, hey, I want to keep coming. He goes, my people keep sending it. They want it. We take off Saturdays and Sundays. We go it again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now I'm sitting on 10 million large in my studio apartment in Sydney, Australia at 25 years old. I got it in my cupboards. I got it in my dishwasher. I got it in my microwave. I got it in the attic of the bathroom. I got it anywhere and everywhere I can fit it. I'm laying on my bed at night with it under my bed going, what have I gotten myself into? Right?
It doesn't stop coming.
It doesn't stop. It like, how am I going to get it out of here? And that was the $1 million question.
Right.
El Jefe, when are you going to send your people to pick up your money? Because I got 5 million of yours and 5 million of mine. And he says, Wedo, do you remember what I told you? I sent you over there to do the same thing you're doing in the U.S. That's your job to figure out. Oof. So now I got to figure out how to get money out of a country that I've never been part of, know nothing about. And I just had to get creative, man. And it started with little things from buying comic books and putting Euro notes in it, sending it home. eventually buying gold coins and putting them in Ugg boots and sending these Ugg boots home. I had girlfriends and wives, like 10 pairs of Ugg boots. All these girlfriends I've ever dated, I'm like, do not open the Ugg boots until I get home. It's a gift. Because there's $15,000 in gold in there. But I'm like, okay, this is not even putting a dent on this 10 million. Not even a dent, man.
But like when you went in, however you sent a FedEx, DHL, whatever it was, at some point were they like, oh, you're back? Like, what are you doing?
Guess what? Uggs is so popular at the time. It's not abnormal for someone to send Uggs to America. It's common, right?
Right.
I'm not going to the same FedEx every time, right? I'm spreading it out. And I got 4 guys that are working for me, and we're spreading it out.
And are you living high on the hog, like partying
Dude,
like a rock star?
No, I'm living like a ghost. I don't.
Oh, you didn't? You went the other way.
No, El Jefe said, do not ever go out in public. He says, you go eat a dinner. He says, and that's it. You don't go anywhere. This man had me trained. He made me go to Australia and apply for education, a business management class, so it looked like I was a student. He had everything covered. And I did what he said, $1 million, I'll do whatever you want, sir, right? Whatever you want, sir. And I literally, I couldn't figure it out. And that's when I called one of my girls and I said, hey, I got all this money. What do you think I should do with it? She goes, just run it through the casino. She goes, why don't you get a high roller to run it through the casino for you?
Right.
I said,
which, by the way, is what, in my experience as a gambler,
common.
Like a lot of like street dealers, they'll go in, it's like dirty money, 5s and 10s and singles and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's how they wash it. That's how they clean it. They'll go to a $100 table. They got to take the money. It's cash. They'll get the chips. They'll have a couple drinks. They'll take the chips, go to the cage and get hundreds.
Yep.
But they wash the 5s and 10s and 20s because it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, but you're doing a higher level.
No one ever would think, right?
Yeah.
But especially if you get a professional gambler that's a high roller.
Right.
So she introduced me to this high roller. They called him Robin Hood 702. He was this blackjack, pro, right? And a whale, they call him. And he's like, this is what I'm going to do for you. I met him in Santa Monica. He says, I got a casino host that's at the Venetian. She's going to call over at the Star Casino in Sydney, Australia. And she's going to say that they have a whale coming from Las Vegas that wants to play. He says, as soon as I get there, I'll have the red carpet rolled out and I'll come in with your cash. And I'll put it on the table. I said, okay, let's run it. What are you going to charge me? 25%. Shook on it. He shows up. I give him a Toomey luggage of $1.5 million the first time. He literally takes it to the casino, welcome him with open arms, give him his drinks, his chips. He says, you know what? I'm not feeling it. Guys, cash me out. So what do you do when they cash you out? Give you a check, because now he's got a check. And guess what? That check's $1.5 million. He puts it in his wallet. Now he flies back to Vegas, where he's a high roller. He's this man. He goes back to the Venetian. He takes that check. Says, hey, guys, give me some chips. Give me some cash. I'm going to play a little. Same thing. Guess what? He's a high roller in Vegas. He can get all the money he wants. It's his money. It's his chips. So they don't give two. They cash him out.
They're happy to have them.
They're happy to have him, right? 48 hours, he calls me. He goes, I got your money minus your 25%. Where do you want it? I was like, holy, this guy just cleaned $1.5 million in 48 hours. I said, I found my guy. This is my guy. 2 weeks later, I'm going to use my guy, right?
Uh-oh.
2.5 million this time. I'm like, hey, I got it. Here's 2 Toomey luggages. He comes. Same thing. Boom. He's at the tables. I'm in the gym. I'm working out with my personal trainer. 3 hours later, I'm like, this guy's already calling, man. This guy's awesome. Right? I'm thinking I pick up that phone. I'm like, mother, did it. He goes, we got a problem. I said, whoa. What do you mean we got a problem? He goes, I lost the money. I said, wait. Yeah, the gambling.
He claimed to gambling.
Claimed to lost at gambling. He goes, I only got $300,000 left. He goes, I need you to come bring me some more. I said, I ain't bringing you no more money. I said, we're going to figure out where the money's at, because now I'm thinking the guy robbed me, right? I get to the Star Casino. I get my personal trainer. I put him in a 3-piece suit, and we show up there like mob bosses. We're like, there's no way this guy lost the money. We get there, and he's shaking like a leaf. He's like, man, I started playing $90,000 a hand. I just had a few bad hands. I'm like, how many bad hands did you have?
Yeah.
30, 60, 90? I mean, you had 2.5 million. Man, I lost it all. I'm like, this guy's playing me, man. He's got to be playing me. Like, he must have gone to the pit boss and split the pot, right?
Or he's just a bad blackjack player.
But he was a dead, degenerate gambler. That's what we found out. My bodyguard went to the pit boss because he knew him. And he said, no, this guy played at 90,000 a hand. And he was playing 3 hands at a time. And he lost it all within 3 hours. I said, holy. I said, what do we do now? And my muscle goes over there and he says, you're going to go get that 300 grand. You're going to get your passport and you're going to meet us in the Hilton Hotel. You're not leaving the country until you figure out how you're going to get this money back to us. And the guy was scared, right? He says, okay, I'm going to get the 300 grand I have left. I'm going to come back to the hotel and we'll figure it out. Well, we're at the hotel waiting. We call him. We say, hey, we're at room 3026. Come now. Guy, 6 hours goes by. This mother hasn't showed up. I'm like, man, this guy ain't coming. So I go back to my studio apartment. And what do you know? The guy calls. He goes, I'm on my way. He goes, I got your 300 grand. I'm like, perfect. I tell my personal trainer, I said, hey, I'm going to pack a suitcase for you. I'm going to give you 700 grand. When he shows up with the 300, we're going to have an even million. I said, you're going to take that even million and go put it at your house in Penrith. That's where he lived, far away. I said, I don't want any money in this house. I got to start getting out of here. I started getting paranoid because this guy knew, right? Because he knew where I lived. And he's like, all right, I got you. So I'm just sitting at the apartment waiting for him to call me. He doesn't call me. Man, 4 hours goes by and he still hasn't called me. The hotel is only like 10 minutes away. I'm like, now I got my trainer burned me, right? That's what I'm thinking, like my trainer just burned me. 4 hours later goes by literally, and I get a call from the New South Wales Police Department in Australia, Australian accent. Hello, just calling about the 700,000 what we picked off with Sean Kalin, your personal trainer. I'm like, what? So now I just lost 2.5 million and 700,000 in the same day. $3.2 million of the cartel's money.
Well, that's wrong. I'm thinking, like, forget about that.
Yeah, how the homie, what did he do?
He got there and the police were waiting for him. And the reason the police were waiting for him, because this gambler called the hotel and said, there's a man in 3026 that has a gun and threatened me. He told on me. This mother fled to the country and he told on me.
Someone get too scared.
He got scared.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn. So now I'm at 3.2. And I'm like, man, the guy gets out of jail and he's like, man, we got a problem. I said, what do you mean we got a problem? He goes, that gambler's singing like a canary. He says he's told him about the money. He says it's bad.
So the jig is up. But forget about that. You owe the cartel how much?
3.2.
And I'm going to guess that the cartel just doesn't walk away from 3.2.
They ain't walking from no 3.2.
Right?
Yeah. They definitely ain't walking away 3.2.
Yeah, though, like you said. Me and my homie was just talking. We was talking about like a dude from New Orleans.
Right.
And he was known, you see everybody's scared. You know, he known to put all the work in he ever had to put in.
Right.
Past that life now. He lived a totally different life now. But, you know, so he had a car. He was waiting for it to be done.
Yeah.
So, you know, it taking a little too long. He get on the phone with the car, you know, he turned and says, oh, you know, I'm going to do this to you if you don't.
Yeah. Guy got scared.
They found him chopped up. So we thought he had got some Mexicans or something like that. The whole time, man, it was the cartoon. He was too scared. So when he got there, he was already ready for him.
He was waiting for him.
He wasn't about to do nothing. He was just mad I want my cousin. But he had his reputation. You scared to do it. Dude was so scared.
Yeah.
That's why when you said I knew you was going, I knew that was going to be like
that's
that.
what happens. You scare someone, and they're going to go to the cops.
So fast forward for me if you can.
Yeah, I'll fast forward.
So at some point you come back.
I come back.
And you're sweating.
I sweat. And LFA messages me, hey, I need to pick up 3 million. Well, I just lost 3.2. And I got to tell him, like, okay, am I going to tell him I lost his money on an encrypted phone? The guy's never met me.
Right.
Or am I going to go face the music? I said about that. I said, I need to meet you in person. Because I felt like if I'm going to die, I'm going to die in person. So I'm not looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I told him that. He says, all right, meet me in Mexico. And I literally drove from Los Angeles to Mexico, Tijuana, which is like a 2.5-hour drive. I crossed the bridge. He says, 1 o'clock, meet me at the McDonald's on the Tijuana border side. I get over there. 1 o'clock sharp, a bulletproof Suburban shows up, black tinted. It rolls down, the glass is like that thick. That's how you know it's bulletproof.
Yeah.
They said, Wedo, get in the car. I get in the car, and the driver's got a pistol on his holster. And I look behind me, and there's 2 Cigarios, which are hitmen for the cartel, 2 of them in the back with AK-47s and AR-15s, bulletproof vests. I'm like, all right, this is it. They're going to...
Like, do you your pants at that moment?
I mean, fuck, I've already taken 3 Xanax, shot a cap of GHB, a Norco, I snorted a line of cocaine. I mean, I did everything. If I'm going down, I'm going down in style, right? I'm going to feel good if you're going to shoot me.
Shoot me again.
So you guys want to kill me, kill me. I'm going to be fine. And I literally just said, okay, it's it, right? They're going to shoot me. They're going to take me in the desert, and they're going to bury me or probably burn me with acid.
Right.
It was it, right? Dude, we literally go southbound and 2 more Suburbans come. And it's like literally like this entourage. It kind of reminded me of the entourage when I used to play at the USC Coliseum. We used to get this police escort, right? But now this time it was with the cartel. It was a different feeling, right? It
I
wasn't
imagine.
So we pull up into this town, it was a lobster town. The guy has the whole restaurant shut down. There's one lady making tortillas and there's one waiter. He's got his 6 sicarios around him and he's sitting at the table. And then I got my own seat with the 2 sicarios that were in the Suburban sitting behind me. I'm like, okay, this is it. He's like, so tell me what happened, Wido. And I said, man, he laundered the 1.5 million. He did it. Remember, I gave you the million. I said it was amazing. He did the 2.5 and he lost it. And then the same day, another 700 got picked off by my runner. He's like, Wido, I know. It's been in the newspaper. I've been reading. He already did his homework. Yeah. He says, but Wido, there's good news and there's bad news. I feel good. He says, the good news is you're going to live. The bad news is you don't owe me 3.2 million anymore. I'm charging you 4 million because of interest. And he says, you now work for the cartel. Hey, but guess what? I was happy. I was going to live, right? Yeah. Those guys behind me weren't going to fucking shoot me.
And working for the cartel means go back to being the bookie?
No.
Or go back to
working for the. I'm going to work for them.
Did they like his work ethic?
But he said,
employee of the month. Yeah. You can put your picture up like in some barrio somewhere, like, hey, 3 consecutive months, you're the best employee we got. So you're selling drugs, you're doing whatever.
Literally, he says, take 2 years off. He says, that guy's that's telling. He's telling. He says, I want you not doing anything with drugs.
Right.
He says, run your bookie business because it's a gray area.
So in other words, kind of lay low.
Lay low. Run your bookie business. He says, just don't do anything with the money, the drugs. He says, just be chill. And that's what I did. 2 years, literally waiting exactly on the dot. He says, you ready to go? And now this time he said, a couple months prior, he says, you're no longer using my routes to get the product into Australia. He says, you're going to use my cocaine and you're going to have to figure out how to get it into Australia yourself because you're not burning my routes. And he says,
so he wanted you to bring cocaine from Mexico or the States to Australia for it to be distributed to the guy in Italy or somewhere.
So he would get it to me in the U.S. and then I had to handle it from there.
Got it.
And literally, I had to figure it out. And I got creative. Lil Wayne knows. I literally started getting bottles of wine from Napa Valley, most famous spot.
Right.
And
don't tell me you shipped wine to like Italy.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't make any sense.
So I literally took the cocaine and I put it in a bathtub. And I took these oars you use, to row a boat.
Yeah.
I took these oars and I took this it's called 150 proof Everclear. It's the strongest stuff.
Yeah, we drink is in New Orleans.
It's awful.
Isn't the famous drink in New Orleans? That's what the secret
is.
Grain.
Yeah, you can't even buy it in California.
What's that drink called? Because
it's hand grenade.
Write that down. Oh, I've heard of hand grenades. Yeah, that's why all the girls take the tops off.
Yeah, it is 150.
You can't even buy it in California.
You're lying. Yeah.
So we had to buy this online because they didn't sell it in California. Yeah. I'm dumping it in there, and I'm literally in this ore with 10 kilos and this 150 proof alcohol, and I'm breaking it down, and I'm funneling this stuff back in these wine bottles. And I'm wiping down the alcohol and I got this cork machine that's corking them all back. And I melt this red wax on top so it looks like a brand new wine bottle.
Maker's Mark.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I line them all up. I put them in the cases. I call my runner. I said, drive this back to Napa Valley. I said, you're going to ship it exactly where you found it. I said, put the return address from that winery and ship it in that city. And he shipped it. And my mate in Australia goes, mate, you wouldn't believe it. It made it. So now they got 2 cases of wine that are in liquid form. They had a chemist turn it back into the brick form.
I was just about to ask. I was about to say,
how do you do that?
The chemist, like Breaking Bad stuff.
Yeah, the chemist. So the chemist brought it back and then they compressed it. And I was like, okay, this is great. We're gonna figure it out, right? The next package I do, now the chemist wants to get greedy. He says, I want half of everything. He got greedy. I said, well, you could tell that chemist he's either gonna work for us what we're paying him, $2,000 a key, or we're not gonna send any more wine, and he's not going to have a job. And they're like, no, he wants half. I'm like, 150,000. He wants $75,000. By the time I exchange my money and get it back, I'm like, I'm working for like $5,000, right? Like I got to pay those guys over there. I got to pay me. I got to split it in half. I got to pay a courier to bring it back, and then I got to give El Jefe his. I'm like, it's not even worth my time. I said, well, that guy's out of the job. I'm going to figure out another way. And so I literally went to that Rolodex and I went to those USC connections, and I had some guys that were in the fraternity that their parents were in the import-export business of chocolate, European chocolate. And they'd send European chocolate into the US and they distribute this chocolate throughout the United States.
Okay.
Right? And I said, those are my guys.
You're like the Elon Musk of drug dealers. Right? You're like, come on, right?
So I literally told these guys, hey, I'm going to give you 50 grand a month. I just want your expired chocolate. He's like, no problem. He said, but what are you going to do?
I was going to say.
He said, what are you going to do with the expired chocolate? I said, dude, what do you care? I'm giving you $50,000.
Right.
All I want you to do is at 6 p.m. when your office closes, you let me in and take my pallet of chocolate. He's like, for 50 grand, I don't care what I got to do. I want to help. All right, you asked for it. El Jefe drops off 10 kilos of cocaine at this port. We get to the chocolate factory. And I said, okay, you asked. So I scrape out an 8-ball. I go, here's for you. Yeah, I knew he liked Coke.
Right.
He's like, oh, Coke? I said, yeah. You want to help? Yeah, I'll help. I said, okay, well, take all the chocolate bars out of the pallets. So they had boxes of chocolates, and I told them to take every bar out and just leave them throughout. So we had like 2,000 pounds of pallets of chocolate.
Yeah.
So now we're stacking literally kilos and putting the bars on top and packaging it. But we have so many chocolate boxes. 10 is so easy to hide, right? We got probably 2,000 boxes of chocolate.
Right.
So it's easy just to mix it like a puzzle. And I'm writing down the numbers of where I put these boxes. Box 12, box 14, box 33, box 2, Package it up. I said, you're going to ship it from your parents' company because they're a chocolate company. It looks normal.
Right.
We're going to send it to Australia to a candy store. So my mate over there has a candy store. They receive it. And he messages me on the encrypted phone. He goes, mate, we got a problem. I go, what do you mean we got a problem? He goes, I can't find the Coke. I think they took it. I said, there's no way. I said, go to box 14, box 22, box 23.
Right.
He goes, holy mate, you're a genius. He said, you found it, right? And I said, yeah, I did it. And that's what I did. I literally did this for, 6 months, and I paid back the cartel the $4 million.
I'm going to stop you there to tell me that if you want to hear the rest of the story, you got to watch the documentary. It's on Amazon Prime.
There you go.
Cocaine Quarterback, Signal Caller for the Cartel. And if you want to hear the conclusion to this story, you got to go watch it on Amazon. Now, before we let you go, they're telling me that you were industrious when you did it. You did a 9-year bid, right?
9 years, yeah.
9 years.
Oh,
yeah.
9. Yes.
I was with your boy Harry O.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We got Lompoc together.
And you started a business
I heard about
behind
this.
bars.
Yeah.
And I have some over here. Tell me what the business is.
Oh, that's it right there.
Man, you got to get that cookies and cream. Tell me you brought the cookies
that
and
was
cream.
the truck outside that I just saw?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
So listen, I literally, in prison, I've been this hustler my whole life, as you guys can see. I literally started making protein shakes in my mop bucket, right? I'd take a protein shake every day. I put my mind like I was working out, and I was drinking these protein shakes like I was at Equinox, right?
Right.
And that was my mindset in prison. So people are like, man, how do you do this time? You're in prison. I said, no, I'm not in prison. My body's in prison, but my mind's actually out there because that's how I did my bid. They're like, what do you mean? I said, man, I have protein shakes every day. I go to Mr. Chow's. I have these Chinese bowls. I mean, I'm not in prison. In what I did, I needed to hustle. So I started literally shaking up these protein shakes, peanut butter, protein, like banana peanut butter, swirl it up, shake it, and I put it in a mop bucket with ice. One day we ran out of ice. There's like 2 inches left. My cellie says, just throw some salt on it. It'll get cold. I go work out. I come back. I said, man, my frozen. He goes, man, just try it. It might be good. I eat it. I'm like, holy we're on to something.
You just made
this is
prison
protein ice
ice
cream,
cream.
right? Prison ice cream. I was like, prison protein ice cream. I said, you know how many people work out on the yard? I said, I'm going to start selling this. I started selling for $15 a jar. I literally had the whole cell block working for me. 7. They were making each cell was making 7 blocks.
Every way,
Right, there's
every
a guy,
walk
right?
of life, he gonna be that. Yeah, man,
So I
move.
said, man, I think I got to do hustle, right?
Yeah.
On Super Bowl Sunday, I'll never forget this. I had to make 50 of them pre-sold. And everyone's like, dude, you made more money than the correction officer today. I said, yeah, I made twice as much, right? At 15 bucks a pop. I get out of prison. I'm in the halfway house for like 16 months. I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I'm a convicted felon. I called my boy Rolly from back on the East Coast. He said, no one has protein ice cream. Why don't you just keep telling the story?
Yeah.
I start doing some research. There's like a company called Halo Top, right? 5 grams. What the 5 grams going to do? It's not even good for kids. I said, I can make a bar with 20 grams and it tastes like ice cream. And that's what I did.
Look at this.
And it took me
California Ice Protein. There's the strawberry swole cake.
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
Too hard.
You got cookies and
that
cream.
one's called
That's
Coliseum
too dope.
Cookies and Cream after
Yeah.
where I played.
Yeah.
So
And,
you made money behind bars.
Yeah, listen, it went from selling one ice cream to another, right?
That's
But
it.
a healthy one.
Oh, look, I got to be fair to you. I got to take a bite and just see.
No, it's good,
right?
man. Yeah.
It's good, dude.
Man, trust me, I already know.
Yeah,
I already know. I know it.
Dude, that's what I was
think
aware-
everything he do is good. I don't think he
You
would've
wrote in
made
your
nothing.
book when you were Rikers, he had dudes making him like gourmet meals.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
brother
I
had
did
meals,
not,
right?
man.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. Man.
I did. Mofongo. I had mofongo all day.
We
Yeah.
were, you know, like we were making them.
Yeah,
so
we made
like you had I would be on the rice one day, and
Right.
but not. We definitely made our. We
Remember the
had
sushi
that,
bowls?
the same thing, like he just said. That mentality
Right.
is before I even got there. That was the mind frame of the guys that was already on the tier.
Right.
They were older, and so they're like, you know, like young, and
Yeah.
if we want steak today, we gonna eat steak today,
Yeah.
and then figure out how to make something taste like steak.
Yeah, they get the
Yeah, but
roast
I read
beef.
that you ate more burritos than any dude I've ever heard
Dorito
of. Right?
burritos. That was-
Right.
Yeah, the Dorito burrito.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dorito
the
burritos.
Dorito
That's what I
We
thought.
Dorito
also
guys
make-
made that.
We
I'll
guys
take a
make these
cookies and
gourmet
cream.
chocolate cakes in the microwave. Took Oreo cookies
Oh, yeah.
and either Coke or grape soda.
Yeah,
Made a batter.
Yep.
Took the white part
The
for,
cheesecake.
for the icing.
chefs.
It was awesome. Like, no joke, awesome. Well, look, it's a pleasure to meet you. Appreciate you telling your story with us.
Yeah.
And I know you got a lot of probation left to go,
10
but it
years.
seems like they can't hold you down, and whatever you do, you're going to be successful. And we appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate having me, guys. Like when you fall, we get up and we keep going, right?
All right, there you go. That's Owen Hanson, and check out the doc on Amazon.